So I thought it'd be fun to do a story time from my theater days. If you don't know me, I did community theater from 2003, 2013, pretty much. And it basically was my personality at the time. And sure had a lot of stories closer to when I was doing this. It's been 10 years since I've been there. But this story kind of popped in my brain a couple of months ago and it just hasn't gone away. So I feel like it's a good one to share. And it's of the time when I almost missed my cue during Christmas Carol. So, again, I performed for 10 years and I really didn't get much at this theater. So, when I was given opportunity to do like small tasks and parts of shows, I like really cherished them because I never really got to do anything. And so, for Christmas Carol, I was selected to be a part of the Abundance and Charity tap number, which God knows how I got in that. I have no idea. I'm not a great dancer. um, which then leads into a company number. And if you're not familiar with A Christmas Carol, it is the ghost of Christmas present, kind of like doing, again, talking about, abundance and charity. And then he then takes Scrooge through the town, just after that scene to kind of show how people celebrate the holidays. And so for anyone in this number, basically we, tap dance for 4 minutes, had to run off stage, change our outfits, and come back on for that company number within roughly a minute, maybe 90 seconds. And so this quick change was really serious. And you weren't just changing like one or two items. For me alone, I'm sure everyone was very similar. I was changing, we were all changing pretty much our wigs, taking off our red lipstick, taking off our shirt slash like shawl, taking off the skirt, putting back on our regular costume for our shirt and our skirt, changing your shoes. And if you had a skirt that showed your ankles, you had to change into black stockings. Most of us substituted with black socks because you didn't have time to put on a whole pair of stockings. I don't think I actually wore my black socks because my skirt was long enough. I just tried to keep my skirt down when I walked. And so this was quite a process. And so I had my mom in the wings. If you don't know what the wings are, basically you're looking at a stage. There's space to the left or right that the audience can't see. Those are called the wings. That's where you typically line up for your positions to get on and off stage. And so I had my mom she was past the wings, kind of behind the stage. And so we would all run off, change our clothes, and run back on for the company number. And throughout rehearsal, it was very clear that no one was allowed to line up in the wings until after that number, because if we had a whole company of like 60 people waiting in the wings, and the 15 of us are trying to exit to go change, there was going to be a huge backup. We were never going to make it. It was going to be a disaster. So while we were changing, everyone was lining up for their company positions. And every time it basically went smoothly, except for one, which maybe that'll be another story time, because that one's actually really not a funny one, but it is an interesting story as well. So every time it's gone really well. I've always made my cue. And for this company number, me and a woman named Wendy went out maybe 8 measures before the rest of the company we had a sung through line. And so the line before us were like these charity women who were talking about how they wanted to like hand out pamphlets, give out meals, and like save the sinners from sin. And me and Wendy were like, no, thank you. We're happy that the ship of Navy men have come in, so we have clients for Christmas, aka we were being prostitutes. And so we had to exit, the wings onto the stage, roughly 8 to 16 measures of music before the rest of the company came out, which meant I had to, feed through, maybe 30 people or so to get back to the front of the wing so I could make it for my cue. And like, I probably could have changed more in the wing. I just felt more comfortable going back to meet my mom, basically behind the stage. And so, yeah, I guess I should have maybe been changing closer, but also people were trying to line up. And so we had to make sure we made room for everyone. Anyway, long story short, it always worked, except for one night. I run back, I change, get my wig on, and I come back and I'm making my way through the crowd, being really quiet. And I look at this lady and I was like, excuse me, I have to be up there. And she was like, no, you don't. And I looked at her and I was like, yes, I do. And it's very likely in her mind, I was just a child's, and she probably thought that I thought I had to be in the exact same spot every single time, or else I would miss like the company number. She didn't realize that I was with Wendy exiting onto the stage before the rest of the company. And so I was like, no, I go out before you. And she's like, no, we all go out at the same time. And this is probably a 30 or 40-year-old woman, maybe even older. I'm not really sure. I don't remember who it was, but she was definitely an adult. And I was a 17-year-old, so I looked like a child. And I was like, "You're going to make me miss my cue. I have to go up there." And she was like, "No, you can wait with the rest of us." And I just kind of accepted it. I was panicking because, if you miss your cue as in a company number and you're with the whole company, the director probably won't notice. However, when you are crossing the stage with one other woman singing a line, you very much will be missed. It's very obvious. And I was like, okay, this is where I missed my cue because, or I'm gonna have to like fight my way through when like my line comes up. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so I'm just sitting there being like, I don't know what to do. And luckily, Wendy from the front of the wing goes, "Where's Sierra? Where's Sierra?" And I'm like, "I'm right here. She won't let me through." And so at this point, the woman realizes that I need to be up there, lets me pass, we do our line, it all goes fine. But it's like, what were you thinking? Like, this has been the routine every night, and maybe she was upset that I was pushing my way through, but that was for a reason. Like, you don't know anyone else's cue but really your own. So, like, why are you trying to dictate where I was going? And, like, honestly, had I missed my cue, the person who would have gotten in trouble was me, even though I wasn't the one that was responsible for me missing my cue. This lady literally would not let me pass. So yeah, that story's just been on my brain for the longest time, and it just bothers the heck out of me. And I don't know why it's bothering me now of all the reasons, but it kind of reminds me how much I hate when things are out of my control and I can't change them, even when I'm trying to change them and they just don't change. So yeah, that is the story time of how I almost missed my cue in A Christmas Carol. I might do one more story time about the opening of Christmas Carol because that was like an interesting story because I had an asthma attack, and that's kind of an interesting one about again kind of about me and how I function. If you want to hear more about my theater days, definitely hit a like, follow, comment, all of the above, and I will see you guys next time.